Hey, how's it going? Y'all look really good tonight. Get that out there. Anyways, I would like to say it's an absolute honor to be standing in front of such a prestigious group of successful people. This is one of my favorite events each year because it's a privilege to meet the person who has allowed for so many student athletes in this room to be who they are today. This is especially true for me. Coming from a Spanish background, my parents are immigrants from Spain, Chile, and Venezuela. In search of a job opportunity, they moved to Georgia, where I was born. My mother was number 2 beach volleyball player for Venezuela, and my father was a point guard for the national team of Costa Rica basketball. And my grandpa was a Spanish pro soccer player and volleyball player, so naturally I picked up sports very well and had a passion for them. I began playing tennis when I was around 5 and getting real serious about it when I was around 8. This is where I met my lifelong coach, who I still talk to almost every day. My childhood coach is this chubby Indian man with an absurdly long beard who just absolutely drilled me as a kid. One day he asked me if I wanted to be a tennis pro, and of course as an 8-year-old kid I said yes. It was at this moment where he crushed my dreams and said, "You will not be a pro, but you will get an education." Through him, I understood the significance of an education. So later down the road, we knew Georgia Tech was the perfect gateway to allow for both an education and a pro career choice. For those who don't know, tennis is a very expensive sport. You have to travel nearly every week for different tournaments all across the country and world. You have to have private coaching and train at fancy tennis facilities that cost nearly $50,000 a semester. Yet, my parents couldn't even afford me to buy decent tennis rackets. When I was around 10 years old, my parents were in and out of jobs, living in debt, struggling financially. They told me they couldn't even afford to do tennis lessons with my coach or travel to tournaments. Because of this, my coach told me he'd teach me for free. I've worked with my coach nearly my whole life, and he hasn't asked me for a penny ever since that day. I soon became his project in everything we did, and anything he said, I was so aware how privileged I was to be on the court, so I did anything. At a young age, I learned how to work as hard as I could on the court and in school. My coach would run me every day till I cried and work simple parts of my game over and over until it became muscle memory. I also learned that I had to work hard for everything in life and nothing was given. In order to pay for tournaments as a junior, I would do anything to make money. I would go door to door, washing windows, selling raffle tickets, teaching tennis lessons, and I would even make my little sister carry a laundry basket full of cookies so I could sell them. When I was a young teenager, my mom, sister, and I would travel to tournaments together. We did everything we could to save money, and it was a grind. We would find dirt cheap hotels in shady places. We would even see homeless people come and try to steal the breakfast in the mornings. We would travel with a portable stove and blender so we can cook in our rooms without spending any money eating out. In 9th grade, I stopped going to public school and switched to online to pursue tennis full-time. I then trained in academies in Atlanta and South Carolina with scholarships for around 4 to 5 hours a day, 6 days a week, while still working with my coach. I missed out on all high school experiences and didn't even go to prom. However, this is not a big deal to me since I had high aspirations with tennis. When I was around 16, I started playing the ITF Junior Circuit, the International Junior Circuit Tennis Federation. Since it was too expensive to travel with my family, I would travel by myself with free standby tickets given by my aunt to compete in all the tournaments all over the country and the world. I can't tell you the amount of times I slept on an airport floor by not getting on a flight. At 17, I was a top 100 junior in the world, playing tournaments by myself all over Europe. I learned how to live on my own and navigate my way through any situation during this time. I ended up qualifying for the French Open, US Open, and my favorite tournament of all, Wimbledon. For those who don't know, Wimbledon is played on grass and has a strict outfit where players are only permitted to wear white clothing with little to no logos. The day before leaving to England to play the most prestigious tournament in the world, my mom and I went to Ross and bought a $6.99 3-pack of plain white tees. When I got there, I would see all my opponents and the pros wearing the latest lines of Nike, Adidas, etc. They had coaches and physios with them, but I bet they were real intimidated when they saw me pull up in my plain white tee. Luckily, I had some close friends who were sponsored and spared me some clothes. And I had Kenny, our head coach, who was there with me at the time. I ended up qualifying for main draw and lost to a Swiss player, but it was still a great tournament and great success for me. Soon after that, I was given the opportunity to go to Georgia Tech on a scholarship. Here I was surrounded by incredible culture, team, and academic excellence that pushed me every day. Throughout my time here, I built a very strong team and have done great things, like taking out Wake Forest last year, who ranked 7 in the country at the ACC tournament quarterfinals. And this summer, I've also been given the opportunity to play in Atlanta Open. With the support I got from Georgia Tech, it was beyond imaginable. With the rambling rec, GT ball kids, and cheer team escorting me on the court, I felt at home. All my friends and family were there to support me take on the 69th player in the world, where I ended up winning. However, none of this would have been possible without the unconditional support of Georgia Tech. Growing up, I was a product of my community, and now I can safely say that I've been polished by GT. I'm extremely lucky to be here and to have all the opportunities I have been given. Now it is my goal in life to pay it forward because everyone who has dreams and aspirations should have a chance to follow them at the end of the day. Thank you.